You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Tuesday. My name's Brock.
I'm Dalby. Did you see that yesterday one of the biggest sporting events on planet Earth went down? The annual Gloucestershire Cheese Roll.
Oh, shit. Was that yesterday?
That was yesterday.
Ah, damn.
Meaning your social media feeds are about to become overwhelmed with people falling down a big grassy hill.
Yeah, if you don't know what this is, it's been a thing they've been doing for like over 100 years, I think.
Yeah.
Where they just throw this huge wheel of cheese down a hill. And whoever's the first one to get to a bottom, dude, and people get absolutely mangled at
So
that
the
thing.
government actually, like health authorities in the area, actually came out this year and asked people not to do it because there were so many injuries last year. They were like, please don't. This is a bad idea. There's so many easier ways to get a piece of cheese. And I'm looking at the video right now, and I'll put it in the show notes. If you're listening to the podcast, go into the description and you can check it out for yourself. These people are getting worked, brother.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, like, I don't know if you've ever ran straight down a hill. Like, it's all forward momentum.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's funny because I watched I don't know if it was like a Vice thing or some shit like that a few years ago where there was like people that were trying to train for it. Mm-hmm. And then after they did the race, they're like, yeah, there's no physical way that you can train for this.
Nothing is the same as actually doing it, because when you're training, the last thing you're going to do is throw yourself down a hill, but that's the only way to do it.
Everybody just has that like that weird toddler run, you know what I'm talking about, where it's all that forward momentum and just waiting to catch you. Like,
is this the British equivalent of calling in with a beer league hockey injury? Because these people, this is on a bank holiday over there. They had the Monday off. They did this. They're going to work today. Some of them maybe not able to go to work today.
I'll say this, beer league hockey players very rarely call in with an injury, but I will say, I think this is the British X Games. This is the closest we get to X Games out there. It rains too much for them to have skateboarding and all that stuff. I'm telling you, man, this is British X Games.
My God, he's in X Games mode.
Dude.
Chasing cheese down.
Dude, add that to the roster in California this summer. I'd watch the hell out of that, man.
Well, congratulations to Tom Kopke from Munich and Abby Lamp, who came all the way from the United States, who are this year's cheese champions.
Yeah, I feel like there was like a Canadian girl a few years ago that won or something, man.
Well, the fact that she's not there anymore makes me question how, if she survived.
I feel like that's one of those things you do once.
And then you're good.
Yeah.
It's the experience. It's the running of the bulls. I did it. I'm alive. I shouldn't do it again.
Yeah, like if you survive the running of the bulls and you go back, you're fucking nuts, dude.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I don't know if you've seen the photos circulating around online, Dalby, of Mitch Marner and Craig Berube finally had a meetup, I guess.
Dude, I don't know what Mitch Marner did, but Craig Berube totally grounded him in that picture, right?
You know what? If you haven't seen it yet, just text hockey to 762-555. I'll send you the photo. It looks like they're either in like a restaurant or a coffee shop.
Yeah, like back booth at a diner kind of deal.
Craig Berube is sitting across from Mitch Marner in a suit with his arms crossed.
Lean back too, but not like a comfortable lean, like I'm gonna lean back and listen to what you have to say for yourself now kind of lean back.
Marner's sitting there with a Jays hat and a coffee cup in hand, and it almost kind of looks like an angry father with his son. Yeah. That's what it looks like.
The thing that really makes me feel like Marner is being like dressed down a little bit is that his head is facing forward, but his eyes are straight down at the table.
From what it looks like, yeah.
Like he looks like he's trying to make it look like he's still listening to Berube, but he's sad. He's looking down.
It almost looks like Mitch Marner just told his dad that he's dropping out of university.
Yeah.
Like it looks like one of those kind of conversations, or maybe the reverse of like, I'm cutting you off, son.
Right.
Like, you know, you got to get your own job.
Yeah. I'm sick and tired of you just going out and partying all the time. It's time for you to settle down and join the family business.
Either way, it's a serious conversation, and like all Leafs fans have been hoping that Berube is going to kind of crack down on Marner a bit. But
well, I mean, if this is the case though, like this honestly looks like angry hockey dad. Like, is this, as a Leafs fan, is this how you want to see Mitch Marner look?
Well, the thing is we don't know what the conversation is. I think the only reason why we're assuming that it's a serious or maybe even an angry conversation is just because Berube has his arms crossed.
He's got his arms crossed. Yeah. What if they're talking about something completely like if the picture had been taken 5 minutes ago, it smiles and laughs.
Berube's like, I went to Zanzibar for the first time the other night.
Yeah. And Marner's looking down like, oh boy, that sounds like a wicked night out.
I just feel like when someone crosses their arms, it's almost like it's a power, maybe not a power move or a power dynamic in a conversation that shifts things a little bit.
And it sucks because not everybody who crosses their arms is trying to be stern. And
True.
I say that as somebody who crosses their arms a lot. Sometimes my arms just get tired and I have this big old barrel off the front of me that I can rest them on.
Sometimes you're just cold.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what
Sometimes
it
you're
is.
just huddling up for warmth. Maybe I look down and I see that I'm pointing with things other than my fingers and I just want to cover them up a little bit.
Other times it's kind of that Ricky Bobby syndrome of like, I don't know what to do with my hands right now, so I'm going to lock them in my armpits.
We've
Like,
been talking for 45 minutes and I've run out of hand gestures, so I'm just going to put my hands away for a bit.
sometimes I cross my arms just so I can actually swipe my hand into my armpit to get a whiff to see if I stink or not.
What was that old SNL sketch? Sometimes I put my fingers in my armpits and I smell them just like this.
Sometimes you have to, dude. Maybe that's what Berube was doing. Maybe Marner got him a little nervous.
He's like, oh man, do I stink?
Is that me?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Here's a wild headline for you, Dalby. Serial slingshot suspect who terrorized a California neighborhood has been arrested.
Finally brought to justice. Dennis the Menace finally goes down.
If you had to take a guess at how old, the age, I guess you would say, of the slingshot suspect,
Yeah.
what age would you think they are?
So, I mean, if you had just said, hey, guess how old this person who had a slingshot is, I would probably guess like 14, 16. But I feel like this is bait. So I'm going to say 47 years old.
Higher.
Higher! 56.
Higher.
72. Did I go too far?
Higher.
Higher than 72.
An 81-year-old man who has been suspected of terrorizing a neighborhood with a slingshot for almost 10 years.
Amazing. So since he was 71.
Since he was 71, apparently this guy has been going around breaking people's windows, denting people's cars.
Damn.
No actual injuries, like he hasn't been harming anyone.
He's not shooting people. He's shooting things.
Police searched the man's home and found a slingshot in ball bearings, which is what people kept finding by their windows of their cars.
You can do a lot of work with a ball bearing.
It was actually his backyard neighbor who had reported him. I guess he slipped up. He tried to go
Snitches.
for his neighbor. So
Oh, see, that's the problem, right? You bring it too close to home, you bring the heat down.
I don't even like. I had a slingshot growing up. I couldn't figure it out, man.
I understand the slingshot mostly because my stepdad used to use it for our squirrel problem.
Yeah.
I never got a hold of it myself, and that's probably for the best.
Well, that's the thing is like I've only heard of the slingshot from like Bart Simpson,
Sure.
and Dennis the Menace.
Dennis the Menace.
And then, like, other than that, is the slingshot actually like a hunting thing? Like, do people actually do that? Is
I
it
don't-
effective? Is the real thing?
That's the thing. It's like I don't know about specifically, like, I don't know what you would hunt with it. I guess my stepdad did take out squirrels. For some people, we've heard on this show, that's good eating.
Yeah.
But I think if you're trying to take down any kind of
You got to have good aim, though, is the thing.
You got to be accurate. You got to have the right ammunition. And I think it's just at a certain size, you're not going to get the job done. You're not going to be able to finish the prey with a slingshot.
I mean, like, I know in ancient warfare, like, the slingshot was a big thing, but
that's how David beat Goliath, brother.
in this day and age, like, if you went to battle and you saw a dude with a slingshot, like, I don't know, you better be Chris Kyle or something. You better be American Sniper out there, you know what I mean?
Just imagine if that's how we solved our problems, solved our differences. You had a workplace dispute. There's a locked case out by reception. It takes 2 managers' keys to open. It's just a pair of slingshots. It's like, go out in the parking lot and figure it out.
Takes a half an hour for someone to aim at the other person.
I assume this is what it was like when war was fought with muskets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stand at a pace from each other, and it would just take forever.
I would say that you would probably be more effective throwing rocks than slingshotting them.
Well, I mean, so here's the thing. I can get a lot more torque on a slingshot. I can shoot a rock or a ball bearing or whatever way harder than I can throw it.
Can you aim it, though?
That's just
Can
it.
you aim it?
Yeah, although... Brother, if you saw me when I was pitching in my minor league baseball days, you wouldn't think I could aim that way either.
Sure. It's just mind-blowing to me that for like $25 you can go to Canadian Tire today and just become an absolute menace.
Just become a terror to your neighborhood.
There's no license required for it or anything. I mean, as a kid, I feel like we all got a slingshot growing up, but like...
Yeah, no, I never had one, and I think that was because my parents knew that's a bad idea.
I feel like if you're over a certain age, yeah, you're probably up to no good with your slingshot.
Or you just want to, take out some beer cans out on the fence.
Or you're buying it because you're not that close with your nephew and you don't know what to get him for his birthday.
I'm just trying to bridge the gap,
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The amount of people who think they could survive a zombie apocalypse is mind-boggling to me.
It is honestly crazy. The amount of people who probably in their daily life don't go through any kind of actual struggle or danger are just if half the population of the planet, if 4 billion people were trying to eat my brain, I'd be fine.
I mean, I get scared sometimes just when I go into Toronto and I have to be around a bunch of people. I sit at a Jays game sometimes and I'm like, there's 50,000 people here right now?
Right. It would not take much for one of these people to take my life. If something bad happened, there's a stampede and I'm up here in the 500s, I might not make it out of this building.
Now, the one thing I will say is we're all focused on surviving the zombie apocalypse. From every movie's perspective, we only know the humans. We've never really gotten the zombies' perspective.
The zombies, the AIs, the robots, whatever's taken over the planet.
I'm just saying, being a zombie might be pretty nice.
Do you think so?
Well, just think about how hard it is to arrange a dinner with your friends. You're never alone. You've always got a squad of people that are just hanging out with you.
You're saying being a zombie might not be so bad for the camaraderie.
Yeah. You're going to have so many friends. You guys are always just walking around. Oh my gosh, you're fitness too. You're getting in so many steps on a regular basis.
True. Although your insides, and this is not universal because obviously every zombie movie is a little bit different, but the general consensus is once you become a zombie, your body is generally rotting at all times.
Sure.
So the step thing might not work as well as you think.
You're outside all the time.
So much fresh air.
You're one of the few people on planet Earth that still gets to enjoy just everything around you.
All the humans are hunkered away in bunkers.
They're all hiding and stuff, right?
What about the all-consuming hunger driving you mad?
Oh, well, I mean, we're already hungry all the time. How much of your day is spent thinking, what should I eat next?
Do you think, you mentioned the whole, the camaraderie, having all these other zombie friends.
Yeah.
Do you think that the zombies get mad at each other? Say there's a group of, 6 zombies just out walking around. They find one human. You're not getting as much to eat as you want to.
I mean, it's that seagull mentality, right?
Mine.
That's where the zombies kind of become seagulls. But, I mean, overall, I feel like the pros kind of outweigh the cons. Oh, yeah, sure, you're kind of dead, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But,
Undead.
I mean, a lot of us are living like that already.
I just love the idea that tomorrow scientists create some sort of super virus. It goes viral throughout the world. Zombies become a thing. People are hiding away, trying to survive, and there's Brock standing in Times Square. All right, get it over with.
Do I look like the guy that's going to save us? No, absolutely not.
Hey, you look like the guy that sacrifices himself for the guy that's going to save us. And that's not nothing, all right,
I
buddy?
look like the guy who looks out the window and goes, well, I guess it's that day. You know what I mean? Realistically, we got people texting in here and they're like, I'd love to live in the Terminator universe to fight the robots and stuff. No, you wouldn't, dude.
No. The whole, red pill, blue pill with the Matrix and people talking about, I would love to have my eyes open and see the way the world works. If I get unplugged from the Matrix, it's one day of despair, gloom, and gruel before I go, you plug me back in.
Well, even someone just texted in saying, I'd like to live in the I Am Legend universe, just me and my dog trying to stay out of dark spots. And that sounds nice, just you and your dog hanging out. But every dog owner knows that they get pissed off at their dog for some reason, for reasons unknown sometimes. Imagine you finally find food.
Yeah.
And then you wake up from your nap and your dog just ate that whole bag of chips that you found.
The dog got into your rations.
Trying not to lose it on your dog, and it's just you and him? Like,
let me ask you one question. I think this determines what kind of person you are. You're in I Am Legend. It's you and Silas, your dog. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all that's left. You pick up after him when he poops?
No. That is the one time when pooping and scooping goes out the window. If there's a zombie that gets mad about that, screw you, dude.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I was reading some newspapers yesterday, saw the Ottawa Citizen has a columnist who's saying that Ottawa needs a bit of a rebrand as a city, bit of a refresh, and was asking readers of their paper, all 7 of them, to come up with new mottos for the city of Ottawa.
Do you know what the current Ottawa slogan is right now?
I actually don't. I just assume that it's something to do with being the capital.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing about Ottawa is it's just so boring.
I feel like it used to be like Advance Ottawa or something like that a few years ago, which even is just cheesy.
What would that even mean? Advance what? It's a city. It's not going anywhere.
I mean, I feel like some people tried to advance Ottawa a couple of years ago, but it's neither here nor there.
You're right. It is currently Advance Ottawa en avant.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's got to have some French in there to make it a proper city capital.
I don't even know what that's supposed to mean.
I guess it just means like we just need to move forward. Everything moving forward. Always progress.
You're like, you don't like whatever's going on here.
Yeah.
Just try to look past all the politics. We've got beaver tails, all right? You can go skating on the Rito.
Like that's just it. Like, everybody tries to be like all punchy with a motto and stuff like that and try to church up wherever it is that you live or wherever it is you're describing, whereas like, just be honest. You're like, Ottawa, home of the meh.
Ottawa, the laziest city on earth.
Ottawa, brought to you by Sleep Country, Canada.
Yeah. Ottawa, the lying capital of Canada.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, with all the government spending and stuff like that. Ottawa, Graceland for 50-year-old plus white dudes.
Just Ottawa, just honk. That's what it should honestly be. Just honk. That's their new motto.
And then the mascot could be a goose. This whole thing writes itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be better than Toronto. Toronto would be like, Toronto, spreading like a virus.
Toronto, you're stuck in traffic.
Toronto, you're probably just here for a concert.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We got a lot of good slogans coming in here for the city of Ottawa, but someone texted in saying Ontario in general needs a new slogan, which I agree with. I've hated since they changed it a few years ago to a place to grow.
It just doesn't make any sense. Literally anywhere is a place to grow if you just go there. Mm-hmm. Like, because you're either talking about like growing as a person or growing some sort of crop or whatever. Like, it doesn't give Ontario the feeling that it's anything special.
Well, and if they keep building houses the way they do in this damn province, it's not going to be a place to grow anything, dude.
If a 1-bedroom apartment continues to be $2,000 a month, who's growing here?
I thought I've had the perfect Ontario slogan for a long time.
Yeah.
It's very easy. It's very simple. Ontario, more than just Toronto. That's honestly the perfect one, dude.
You know what's funny? I've had a similar thought about, because we spent a very short period of time in Manitoba, and I had the same Manitoba, more than just Winnipeg.
Honestly, Manitoba's could be, you can keep driving.
What is it? Manitoba. Nothing to see here.
Manitoba, don't stop. Keep going. Keep going.
Sponsored by Journey.
Yeah. Basically, it's like Manitoba says that. Saskatchewan's like, you're almost there. And then Alberta's like, you want beef?
I feel like the beef thing. I lived in Alberta for a long time. They take that thing seriously.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Although the better motto, I feel like, for Alberta would just be rap.
Rap. Yeah.
Make that the whole province's motto.
It's okay to kiss your cousin here. Something like that, maybe.
I feel like you could just sort of coin toss that over the prairies, and wherever it lands, it lands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you get out to the coast and you got BC where we got trees. And we got trees.
Yeah. What would Quebec's be? Maybe like, I know what you're saying. Like, because they all know how to speak. No, you know what it would actually be? Quebec's would just be, I don't know French that well.
Yeah.
But it would say, you don't know what this says.
It would be something mocking Anglos, 100%.
Yeah. As you enter the province, you're trying to read it, and it goes, you don't know what this means.
It would be something that if you said it out loud would sound really pretty, but if you actually knew the meaning, you'd be like, well, hey, now, hang on a second here.
Yeah, and if you make it all the way out to Newfoundland, it just says, you can't outdrink us. That's what it is. Yeah.
Crack a bottle and have a sea pie.
It's time for Brock and Dalby's draft.
All right, this morning we are doing a draft of the best headwear.
Yeah.
Hats, headgear, whatever you want to call it.
That has to be job related. Like, you would never wear this if you weren't this profession.
It must be mandatory while you are working to wear that headgear. I did win rock, paper, scissors, so I get the first pick here.
Do you even know what to do with this position?
With my number one pick, the best headgear in all of professions has got to be the Buckingham Palace Guards.
The big poofy hat.
I Googled it. It is called the bearskin, by the way.
Okay,
That's
all right.
what it's called.
Now, just for my own edification, we're talking about the super tall, fluffy hat.
The tall-ass Marge Simpson kind of looking hat.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's a number one overall pick.
That's my number one. That's where my mind goes automatically. It's the most iconic headgear in any sort of profession, dude.
You know what? It's probably the easiestly recognizable, but most iconic. I don't see too many people dressing up as Buckingham Palace guards when Halloween comes around, whereas I've seen many a pirate's three-cornered hat in my day.
But I feel like the actual pirates nowadays, they don't even wear those hats.
Well, it's a nostalgia thing.
Sure.
I'm not talking about like some Somali ship off a coast.
You're talking
somewhere.
like cosplayers, right?
I'm talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, the classic three-corner pirate hat with a big floofy feather.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because the guys who do the I'm the captain now.
No, those guys, they don't mess around.
They just wear like golf hats nowadays.
And that's the problem. Style is gone from piracy, and I'm sad about that.
I'll agree with that. Coming in at number 2, I'm gonna go Pope hat.
Pope hat is a good hat.
Pope hat is iconic, dude.
That's honestly the whole religious idea that the bigger your hat, the more important you are. It's just a great way to organize things,
dude. And he's got tons of different styles of them over the years.
Yeah.
He's a baller, man. I will say that. That game's strong.
I come back a little closer to home for my second overall pick, and I'm talking the classic Royal Canadian Mounted Police hat.
Good pick.
Just a solid brim. Lets you know who's in charge in the room.
Great pick, honestly.
Thank you.
Coming in at number 3, I'm going to go with the Matador hat.
Oh, it's almost like Mickey Mouse ears, but a little bit classier.
Yeah. It comes off to the side a little bit. Yeah.
Dude, off the board, but I dig it.
It's a great hat. I feel like only a certain dude can really pull it off.
100%.
I don't know if the shortness kind of has some sort of effect of like the job that you do. But it's not a hat that you or I could pull off.
No.
And it's not a hat that you just wear out and about anywhere.
Dude, if I walked in here in a Matador hat tomorrow, you'd be ended.
I'd be like, Olay. Yeah.
Number 3 on my list, it's just a hat that says Valor, and that's the firefighter hat, the firefighter helmet that they'll wear running into the burning building. You gotta have some real huevos to wear that hat professionally.
Absolutely. Coming in at number 4 for me, I'm going to go with just a simple baseball cap. I mean, baseball players just get to wear hats that most of us pay like $50 to wear.
True.
I've always been jealous of that fact. They're new era too, which I love those new era caps. So I'm going to go baseball hat.
My number 4 pick is actually a pick of the people because I had not thought of it until people texted it in 762-555. And it is one of the most baller things that you can wear. You look tough. if you got a welding mask on. Big welding mask, whether you're going the
Does
goggles.
that classify in as mask or hat, though?
Well, I think it's something they go over the back of the head, they strap onto the head. I think by you opening the door to call it headgear, I think the welding mask still falls into that category.
Interesting choice.
I'm not alone because we got a lot of people texting it in.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide. My number 5 pick, gonna go with the Shriner's cap.
Oh, I didn't have that on my list, but that's such a good
How
pick.
excited do you get when you are watching a parade and you see the Shriners come down and their little go-karts moving around? They got those caps on their heads.
The cap is not as cool as the car, but you need the cap to drive the car, which makes the cap cool.
And if you don't wear the cap, then I feel like you can't be in the Shriners.
No, I think that's part and parcel with it.
Them's the rules.
You would be driven away in shame if you lost your Shriner's hat. My 5th and final pick, I'm going to go with you open the door to helmets, and there's one that stands out above the rest. An astronaut helmet. A helmet from your spacesuit. Just the idea of this is the only thing keeping the universe from crushing your body. That's a cool hat.
All right, we'll run through our picks one more time. Run through all of yours.
All right, the Dolby list is a pirate hat, a Mounties hat, firefighter helmet, a welding mask, and the astronaut helmet.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Today's word is cherry. Yeah, cherry. C-H-A-R-Y. And, it's careful about dangers and risks. That's something I've never really been good at. Anyways, cheers up. Have a great one.
Cherry?
Cherry.
Is that how it's pronounced, or is it cherry?
It is here. I got it right here. If you turn me on here, it's cherry. So it is C-H-A-R-Y, but it's pronounced just like the fruit. And essentially, it's just people who are like really nervous about things. Like the example here from the Oxford people is there are a lot of people who are cherry about allowing themselves to be photographed. Don't take my picture. I don't like when people take my picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just being nervous, or
cautious, suspicious. If you know somebody who's always like, everything's out to get me, I don't trust anybody.
So there's like, when I was a kid, if we were all riding bikes and you were the kid that was scared to hit the jump, you'd be a bit cherry.
You'd be a bit cherry about that jump. That's why all the other kids made fun of you. Mm-hmm. Also, I think that if you look at the man's slogan and catchphrase of "Don't trust anyone," imagine a world in which we had described Stone Cold Steve Austin as simply being cherry. Just cautious and suspicious of everyone.
I feel like if someone called me cherry, I would automatically assume that it means something completely different.
Yeah.
I'd be like, are you calling me the fruit? Like, is that what you're doing?
Well,
Like,
I mean, I've heard people use the phrase to say something is cherry means like it's really good, it's tops, it's ace, that sort of thing.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I wouldn't take it as an insult. If someone told me that I was cherry, I would think that they were complimenting me. Mm-hmm. These are two words that mean such different things. We need to pronounce them differently.
Like if you challenged me to a duel and called me cherry, I wouldn't know what you were talking about.
No, I would think you were pumping my tires, which is a weird thing to do before we take each other's lives.
Mm-hmm. Cherry, cherry, cherry.
But not that cherry.
Use it wherever you can today, all right?
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store. With all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.